Welcome to the Better Together podcast, where we look for ways we can work together to advance the gospel of Jesus Christ. Today I have with us Anna Fox. She works for the National Association of Free Will Baptists. Many of you know her from sending your yearbook information and interacting with her at the National, but she's also our Bless liaison. And so, Anna, welcome to the Better Together podcast.
Thank you.
What in the world is Bless? And I'm calling you a Bless liaison, so maybe our listeners are unaware that we even have any kind of resource called Bless.
Well, Bless is a free resource that we have that just encourages us to pray for our neighbors and gives us opportunities to connect with our neighbors as well.
Okay, and so I'm thinking, how do I connect with my neighbors? It tells me my neighbors, doesn't it?
It does. So when you sign up for Bless, you will get 5 neighbors' names a day with their address. So that way you know when you're walking through your neighborhood, hey, that's so-and-so, and you can be praying and putting a face to the name that you've been praying for.
So we encourage you to go to NAFWB.org. You could do /bless, but you will probably find Bless right there on the top of the page. What do they do after they go to our website if they wanted to sign up for this?
There's a link to sign up. There's a couple different options. The first option is if you're an individual, you can just sign up using that link and you'll fill in all of your information and you'll start getting the names sent right to your email, or you can download the app and those names will be right there in the app. But if you're a church, you can sign up underneath us as an organization, and then you'll have your own promo link that your church people can sign up underneath as an individual. So that way you can kind of stay together and know how many people you're praying for in this area and have an initiative. Hey, we want to pray for this many people, and your church can kind of track that through their profile. But if your church hasn't signed up, you can sign up individually.
So it's a wonderful thing for church, but maybe your church isn't participating. No problem. You individually can be a light, which is what they call it in the community. And so walk us through a little bit how an individual Christian, according to the Bless app, can be a light, if you will, in their community.
Right. So one of the things is just building connections. Begin with prayer. Start praying for them. But as you're out walking and in your community, you can listen to their stories, listen for ways that you can serve them. You can also have a meal, have a community block party, or if you've built a connection with a neighbor, invite them into your home just to eat with them, but love on them, serve them, and meet those needs physically so that way you can in turn help meet their spiritual needs.
So you're probably figuring this out. Bless is an acronym. And so begin with prayer, then you listen, then you look for opportunities, as you said, Anna, to eat or to have coffee with the person. You listen to their story, and then they share their story. Mm-hmm. So really, it is a way to pray for our neighbors, but it's also a way to reach them with the gospel, isn't it?
It is.
So as an individual, I can do that. I can sign up free of charge. There's all kinds of articles on the Bless website, but maybe I'm a pastor or I'm a leader in my church. Talk to us a little bit more about how churches can sign up and how they might be able to use this as an outreach activity to reach the people in their community.
Right. So when you sign up as a church, you're able to offer your individual people in your congregation to be able to link up with you. But then also you can sign up to get the names around your church. So you'll start getting 5 names every day that are the people around your 5 minutes from your church. But then you can find ways, like my church, when we signed up, we started writing a card, and it's super simple. It has a picture of our church, and we just say, hey neighbor, we prayed for you today. We're here if you need anything, and that's it. And that way, that was just, and we've had people come and said, hey, you don't know what I was going through the day that I received that note. But then you can also find ways, once you're learning what your community needs, you can start by knowing those names and praying for them.
So this is really a good outreach for church. So encouraging people to pray for their neighbors. But I like the idea of praying for the neighbors right around the church. And so you've seen a great impact from that by people responding. And it's another way, isn't it, for maybe people aren't internet savvy. They don't know how to use an app. They can just pray for those folks every midweek, can't they?
They can, and you can just print those names. That's what we've done, is just here's the 30 that we're all praying for, and we've split them up between our people, and we can print it for those that, aren't tech savvy, and they can take it home and pray for those names.
So Bliss is a powerful tool. I know you've also used it in conjunction with another tool we have called Know Your Community. So help our listeners understand what's available to them if their church has done a Know Your Community report. How can Bliss also be enhancing of that resource?
Yeah, so once you've done your Know Your Community, we can do a Bless report that gives you some more demographic information, new neighbors, people that have moved in within the last 6 weeks from a 5-mile radius from your church. And then we can even give you those household mailings. So you can say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood, or here's a gift basket from our church. And that way you know who's moved into your zip code. And these are not people that have moved within the zip code. They are new to your zip code.
Okay, so we're talking brand new people that have come to your town, and when you run the report, you do it on people who've moved in the last 6 weeks, right?
Right.
And so you've got the addresses of them. They can see if somebody lives close to them and welcomes them to the neighborhood, or do some of the things like you all have already done, like sending letters or sending gifts and so forth to them. So we encourage you to take advantage of that. Any church who's done the Know Your Community report can have access to that. I know another thing that you do is you're able to show them, we can show them on a map where unreached people live and where widows live. So walk us through that a little bit.
Right. So it'll show where your church is as a pinpoint, and then it'll have red dots all around showing the areas, the streets that are the unreached households or the widows. And then on that new movers list, we can also sort it by school code. And so that way you can know which areas are certain schools for when you're doing activities.
So you're listening, you're like, I don't think my church has even done a Know Your Community report. You can do that. Go to nafwb.org/know, and the report costs us $100, but if you don't have the resources for that, we would take care of that for you. You get that particular report, we give you the feedback, and then you give them the new mover list, and we give them the map of the widows and the unreached people we think have never heard the gospel. Really, it's quite an outreach tool for a neighborhood, isn't it?
It really is, and it just helps you to know your community better.
Which is real critical to reach our communities. So you're listening, you're like, this is some good information. Individually, a person can just choose all on their own to go to nafwb.org/bless. They can sign up to be a light, can't they?
They can.
And then they could sign up as a church, to do this and to keep up with how many times they've shared the gospel or listened to someone or eat with someone or serve someone. And then if they want to go an even further step, they can go and they can do this technique where they're trying to reach out to new movers. Now, I know that this app is based on a book by the Ferguson brothers. It's also possible for them to utilize that as a resource, isn't it?
It is. So we have the Bless book, but then we also have lessons that we've put together with videos and PowerPoints and handouts that go along with the Bless book. And it'll you can use it as a small group and just kind of get your people to know what Bless is.
So it's almost like you're like, well, you take me this step, and then just like, do you want to go another step? If you do the Bless study, which is free, and again, you would email us and ask for that, or it's on the Bless website. You can have the handouts, the PowerPoints, the video lessons, and really they could put this tool to work, couldn't they, Anna?
They could.
So I know your church has used this in a wonderful way. I know that you've come to know this data well by interacting with it and interacting with the app developers. Is there anything else we need to know to be prepared to utilize Bless?
One of the things that's just helpful is because we have partnered with Bless. When you do sign your church up, you will need to default off of paying something because it is free for you. So we have that ability for you to join us for free. So when you sign up, don't pay for anything at the beginning unless you want to dig a little bit deeper.
And we'd be glad to talk to you more about if you wanted to dig deeper. For example, if they want the new mover list weekly, or if they want to get more involved in that, there are some fees, but we're able to provide this free of charge because of our relationship with Bless. Well, that's wonderful information. Thank you for sharing that with us today, Anna.
Thank you for having me.
We want to thank you for listening as well. We also want to encourage you, if you're not doing so, to make sure that you're giving to the National Association of Free Will Baptists. Give to the executive office via co-op or the Together Way plan, or send money directly to us, because all of these resources, they cost money. And so when you give to us, you help us to be able to in turn give back to you. So we encourage you to do that. Go to nafwb.org/give and help us out if you can today. Remember, every little thing we do, it really does count. It really does matter. We truly do accomplish more when we work together because we are better together.